They say that growing old is like watching the sun slowly set, gentle, inevitable, and out of our control. But what if that wasn't the full truth? What if, hidden inside the very act of aging, there was still a way to restore the strength and balance that time seems to steal from us? For centuries, people assumed that once we reach a certain age, weakness, frailty, and joint pain are unavoidable. The body slows down, the muscles shrink, and the confidence to move freely starts to fade. But recently, something happened that challenged everything doctors believed about aging and physical decline. In clinics and rehabilitation centers around the world, physicians began noticing something extraordinary among some of their older patients. These were not people lifting weights or running marathons. They weren't spending hours at the gym or taking expensive supplements. In fact, most of them were doing something that looked almost strange. They stood still, motionless, in a wide stance, with their knees bent slightly, their backs straight, and their faces calm. They looked like statues, silent and grounded. Yet inside their bodies, powerful changes were taking place. Doctors watched as blood pressure stabilized, leg strength improved, and balance returned. Seniors who had once feared falling began walking with steady confidence. Those who had struggled with stiff joints reported newfound mobility. And their secret? A single ancient posture known as the horse stance. A practice so old it predates most forms of modern exercise, yet so effective that modern science can no longer ignore it. The discovery left medical professionals genuinely astonished. Some described it as a biomechanical miracle, a simple position capable of reactivating muscles, improving circulation, and restoring stability without a single step taken. What shocked them most wasn't how intense the exercise looked, but how calm it felt. No equipment, no strain, just stillness, and an inner strength awakening. Imagine this. You're over 60, maybe 70, and you've grown cautious with your movements. The ground feels a little less steady. You hold on to furniture, avoid stairs, and quietly accept that weakness is part of aging. But what if, by standing still for just a few minutes a day, you could reverse that feeling, regaining the balance, energy, and quiet power you thought was gone forever? That's what the horse stance is doing for thousands of seniors across the world right now. It's changing how we define exercise. It's challenging what it means to grow older, and it's proving beyond a doubt that true strength never disappears. It only sleeps, waiting for you to wake it again. The hidden power of stillness. In a world that never stops moving, stillness feels almost unnatural. We rush from task to task, constantly told that movement equals progress, that activity equals health, and that rest is something earned only after exhaustion. Yet, for centuries, the wisest healers, monks, and masters of the body understood a paradox that modern science is only beginning to rediscover. Sometimes, the greatest strength is born from stillness. The horse stance embodies this ancient truth. At first glance, it doesn't look like much, simply standing with the knees bent, the back straight, and the gaze forward. But in that silence lies a deep awakening. When the body stops chasing movement, it begins to listen. The mind tunes into sensations that modern life has numbed. The pull in your thighs, the weight in your feet, the alignment of your spine, the rhythm of your breath. These small awarenesses, almost invisible, are where true healing begins. As you settle into the stance, something remarkable happens beneath the surface. The tiny stabilizer muscles, the ones that keep you balanced, the ones that quietly weaken with age, start to fire again. They wake up as if remembering their purpose. The feet, once flat and tired, begin gripping the ground. The legs, long neglected by desk chairs and soft couches, rediscover their duty to support you. The back straightens, the core engages, and though to an observer you appear still, inside you is a storm of subtle strength and renewal. Stillness is not the absence of activity. It is a different kind of action. It's the body reorganizing itself, quietly, without fanfare. The horse stance teaches you that motion is not always the path to power. Sometimes power comes when you pause. For seniors, this lesson is life-changing, because with age, the risk of falling, imbalance, or losing confidence in movement can make the world feel smaller. But through stillness, you begin to rebuild that confidence, not through speed or force, but through presence. And then there's the mind. In a still body, the mind has nowhere to run. It faces itself. The breath deepens, thoughts slow, and for the first time in a long while, peace begins to rise from within. In that quiet, you feel grounded again, steady, aware, connected to the earth. You realize that stillness is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the quiet language through which your body says, "I'm ready to heal." That is the hidden power of the horse stance, a strength that doesn't shout or strain, a strength that waits for you in the silence, ready to rebuild you from the inside out. The ancient origin of the horse stance. Long before the invention of treadmills, gyms, or protein shakes, ancient civilizations understood something profound about the human body. That strength was not just about muscle, but about harmony, and few movements embodied that harmony as beautifully as the horse stance. Its origins reach back thousands of years, deep into the mountains and temples of ancient China. Monks of the Shaolin temple, known for their unmatched physical and spiritual discipline, began their training not with strikes or kicks, but with this stance. It was called Ma Bu, meaning horse step, because the wide, steady posture resembled the strong legs of a horse prepared for battle. To the monks, this position was more than just a warm-up. It was a way to build the foundation of all movement, power, and inner stillness. They believed that before a person could move with grace, they had to first learn to stand with awareness. Every motion, every punch, jump, or spin began from a still, grounded stance. In this quiet posture, they learned patience. They learned endurance. They learned to listen to their own heartbeat and to master their breath. The Shaolin said, "If your horse stance is strong, your life is strong." Over time, this practice spread across Asia. In Japan, it became known as kibadachi, used by samurai warriors to steady their center before drawing the sword. In Korea, it appeared in Gima Seogi, forming the root of Taekwondo balance training. In India, yoga masters practiced similar wide knee poses, recognizing the same truth, that stability of the legs leads to stability of the mind. The stance trained not only the body's lower half, but also the spirit. Students were told to hold it until their legs trembled, not to punish themselves, but to learn humility, to recognize the quiet moment between strength and surrender. It was a meditation in motionless form, a lesson in how to remain unshaken even when the world trembles. What's fascinating is that this same stance, once used by warriors to prepare for battle, now serves a gentler purpose. Today, older adults across the world use it not to fight enemies, but to fight fragility. What monks once used to strengthen their spirit, modern seniors now use to strengthen their balance, endurance, and peace of mind. It's a reminder that the wisdom of the ancients still speaks to us today. The human body hasn't changed, only our lifestyles have. Where once we walked, climbed, and stood strong, today we sit for hours, letting our strength quietly fade. The horse stance offers a bridge, a way to reconnect with that ancient vitality. So when you stand in the horse stance, you are not just exercising. What modern science now knows. For thousands of years, the horse stance was taught through wisdom, discipline, and oral tradition. Monks didn't need data or laboratory results. They understood its power through experience. But today, science has caught up. Modern researchers have begun studying this seemingly simple pose, and what they've discovered confirms what the ancients always knew. Stillness can be one of the most powerful forms of strength training on Earth. When scientists began measuring muscle activation during the horse stance, they were astonished. They found that even though the body appears motionless, nearly every major muscle group, from the thighs and hips to the back and abdomen, is firing simultaneously. The quadriceps, glutes, hamstrings, and calves work together to hold the lower body stable, while the deep abdominal and spinal muscles engage to keep the torso upright. This means that while the body looks calm, it's actually performing a full-body workout, one that gently challenges endurance, balance, and posture all at once. The more fascinating part is what happens over time. When seniors practice this stance regularly, they stimulate the proprioceptive system, the internal sensors that tell the brain where the body is in space. These sensors weaken with age, which is why many older adults begin to feel off balance. The horse stance retrains those pathways, almost like rebooting the brain's connection to the legs. That's why people who practice it begin to notice fewer stumbles, steadier walking, and more confidence in their movement. Physiologists have also observed something subtle but profound. As you hold the stance, blood circulation improves dramatically. The muscles in your legs gently compress the veins, pushing blood back toward the heart. This supports healthy circulation, oxygen delivery, and even blood pressure regulation, all without stressing the heart. For people with joint issues or limited mobility, this kind of low-impact strengthening is a gift. Doctors who once dismissed static exercises are now rethinking their approach. Studies show that even a few minutes of isometric tension, the kind produced in the horse stance, can stimulate bone density growth, strengthen connective tissue, and activate hormone responses that preserve muscle mass. In fact, physical therapists now use modified horse stances in rehabilitation for knee injuries, hip replacements, and even neurological recovery after strokes. What was once a martial artist's secret is now a scientifically supported therapy. But beyond the data, there's another reason modern experts are impressed. The horse stance doesn't just build the body, it calms the nervous system. Heart rate variability improves, stress hormones decrease. How the horse stance rebuilds strength after 60. After 60, most people notice small but unsettling changes. Climbing stairs feels heavier. Getting up from a chair takes more effort. The legs, once steady and responsive, start to tremble under simple tasks. Many accept this as nature's course, but the truth is that much of this decline comes not from age itself, but from disuse. Muscles that aren't challenged begin to shrink. Nerves that aren't stimulated grow quiet. And the communication between the brain and the body slowly fades. The horse stance reverses that pattern, gently, powerfully, and safely. When you lower into this ancient pose, the first thing that happens is muscle reactivation. The large muscles of the thighs and hips, the gluteal group, the inner thighs, and even the small stabilizers around the knees all come alive at once. These are the very muscles that keep you walking upright and prevent falls. By holding still, you're teaching them endurance rather than brute force. Each second in the stance sends a signal to the brain. These muscles are still needed. Over time, this signal rewires the nervous system, helping older adults regain coordination they thought was lost. But the horse stance goes beyond strength. It rebuilds joint stability. Instead of stressing the knees or hips with rapid motion, the stance distributes your body's weight evenly through both legs. This symmetry allows the cartilage and connective tissue to strengthen gradually without grinding or strain. For seniors with arthritis or weak joints, this balance of gentle tension and stability can ease pain and restore confidence in movement. Then there's circulation. Standing still under tension compresses and releases blood vessels in rhythmic waves like a quiet pump deep inside the legs. This process draws oxygen into the muscles and flushes away stagnant blood that often contributes to fatigue and swelling in older adults. Better circulation means more energy, warmer extremities, and improved nutrient delivery to every tissue that supports your joints and bones. The stance also strengthens the core and lower back, areas that weaken quickly with sedentary lifestyles. Even though you appear motionless, your abdominal and spinal muscles are constantly adjusting to keep you upright. This trains postural awareness, the foundation of balance and spinal health. Many seniors report that after a few weeks of daily practice, their posture improves naturally. They stand taller, breathe easier, and feel lighter on their feet. Equally important is the effect on the mind-body connection. Holding the stance requires patience. As the legs begin to shake, the instinct is to rise or quit. But when you choose to stay, to breathe through the discomfort, something powerful happens. You cultivate mental endurance. You learn that strength is not the absence of difficulty, but the willingness to remain calm within it. That lesson extends far beyond physical exercise. It becomes a metaphor for resilience in daily life, standing firm when challenges come. For seniors, the horse stance is more than a workout. It's a conversation with the body. Every tremor is your body answering back, saying, "I remember how to be strong." With consistent practice, even just 2 or 3 minutes a day, that conversation becomes clearer. Balance returns, confidence rebuilds, energy rises. The same stillness that once felt like weakness becomes the source of your power. And that is how the horse stance rebuilds strength after 60. Not by fighting age, but by reminding the body that its strength was never truly gone. It was simply waiting to be called upon again. How to practice it safely at home. One of the most beautiful things about the horse stance is that it requires no special tools, no gym membership, and no fancy equipment. You don't even need much space. just your body, your breath, and a quiet corner where you can focus. It's a practice designed for everyone, especially those who thought exercise had already passed them by. But like any form of movement, it should be done with care, patience, and respect for your limits. Start by standing tall. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Really feel it. Let your shoulders relax, your arms rest naturally by your sides, and your eyes look forward. Take a slow, deep breath. Before you even move, remind yourself, this is not a race. You are not competing with anyone. You're simply reintroducing your body to strength, one breath at a time. Now, gently widen your stance. Step your feet apart until they're about twice shoulder width. Keep your toes pointed slightly outward, as if you're preparing to sit down on a wide, invisible chair. From this position, slowly bend your knees. Move with awareness, not speed. Let your hips sink down a few inches, maybe more if you feel comfortable, while keeping your back upright and your chest open. As you lower yourself, imagine a string pulling the top of your head upward, keeping your spine tall and straight. Avoid leaning forward or arching your back. Your weight should spread evenly across both feet, pressing gently into the floor. You'll feel your thighs engage almost immediately, a deep warmth spreading through the legs. That's your body waking up. At first, hold this position for just 15 to 20 seconds. Focus on your breathing. Inhale slowly through your nose. Exhale gently through your mouth. Don't lock your knees or push through pain. Small discomfort is normal, but sharp pain means it's time to come up. Rise slowly, exhale, and relax your legs. Give yourself a moment to feel the difference. The tingling in your thighs, the gentle buzz of energy flowing through your lower body. That's circulation improving. That's life moving again. Over the coming days, aim to increase your holding time gradually. Maybe 30 seconds, then 1 minute, eventually reaching 2 or 3 minutes if your body allows. Remember, consistency matters more than duration. Even short daily practice rewires strength faster than long sessions done occasionally. For safety, you can place a sturdy chair beside you or face a wall for balance support. If you have knee or hip issues, lower yourself only halfway. The magic of the stance isn't in depth, it's in alignment and awareness. Some of the most powerful results come from shallow positions held with calm focus. After your practice, shake out your legs gently. Walk a few steps. You might notice a sense of lightness, as if gravity feels softer. That's your muscles rediscovering coordination. That's strength being rebuilt from the ground up. The horse stance doesn't demand youth or flexibility. It simply asks for presence. Done correctly and safely, it becomes a sanctuary within your day. A few minutes where your body learns to trust itself again. Each time you step into the stance, you're reminding your legs, your spine, and your heart, I am still strong, I am still steady, I am still here. Breathing and mental focus, the inner energy connection. Physical strength rebuilds the body, but it's the breath that restores life to it. Every movement, every moment of stillness begins and ends with breathing. Yet most of us go through our days without noticing it. We breathe shallowly, hurriedly, as if we're afraid to pause long enough to feel it. The horse stance changes that. It turns each breath into an act of healing, a reminder that power doesn't come from how much we do, but from how deeply we connect to the present moment. In ancient training halls, monks were taught that the breath was the bridge between the mind and the body, a current of invisible energy that controlled both. They called it qi or chi, the life force. And though science may use different words, the truth is the same. The way we breathe determines how our muscles fire, how our heart beats, and how our brain calms itself. The horse stance brings that truth into perfect focus. As you stand, knees bent and feet firm, begin by bringing awareness to your breath. Inhale slowly through your nose, letting the air travel down, deep into your belly. You should feel your abdomen expand slightly, like a balloon filling with air. Then exhale through your mouth, soft, steady, and controlled, as if you were fogging a mirror. This simple rhythm awakens your parasympathetic nervous system, the part responsible for relaxation and healing. It tells your body you are safe, you can let go. Now, as your breath settles, bring your attention to a point just below your navel, your center of gravity. In Eastern tradition, this area is called the dantian, the energy center of the body. Visualize it as a small, glowing orb of warmth inside you. With each inhale, imagine drawing energy into it. With each exhale, imagine that warmth spreading throughout your legs, your spine, and your chest. Soon, you'll begin to feel a quiet stability, a connection between breath, strength, and calmness. When your legs start to tremble, and they will, don't resist. That trembling is not weakness. It's energy moving through areas of tension. It's your body waking up. Breathe through it. Let the shaking become your teacher. Feel the difference between panic and presence. The longer you hold the stance, the more you'll notice that the mind, once restless, begins to soften. Thoughts lose their urgency. The only thing that matters is the next breath. With time, this becomes meditation in its purest form. The breath flows, the heart slows, and awareness deepens. Seniors who practice this regularly often report that their sleep improves, anxiety decreases, and daily stress feels lighter. That's because they're retraining not only their body, but their nervous system, transforming fight or flight into rest and heal. So remember, when you practice the horse stance, don't just stand, breathe, don't just hold your balance, feel it. Let each inhale remind you that strength is entering your body, and each exhale remind you that tension is leaving. That is how you connect with your inner energy, not through force, but through awareness. In this way, the horse stance becomes more than an exercise. It becomes a prayer in motionless form, a sacred moment between body and spirit, between what was and what is being restored. Healing through stillness. There's a moment that comes after weeks of practice, a moment so subtle you might almost miss it. You lower into the horse stance like you always do, knees bent, feet grounded, breath steady. But this time, something feels different. The trembling in your legs doesn't feel like struggle anymore. It feels like release. The tension that once made you doubt your strength now feels like energy moving freely, washing through you like a wave. That's when you realize healing has already begun. The world often tells us that healing requires doing, taking medicine, stretching, lifting, running, fixing. But the horse stance reveals a softer truth, that sometimes healing begins when you stop running from your body and simply stand with it. In stillness, you begin to listen. You start to notice what your body has been trying to tell you all along, where it hurts, where it's tired, where it's been ignored. And as you breathe through those moments of awareness, something remarkable happens. The body begins to repair itself. Scientists now understand that calm, focused stillness activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which governs rest, digestion, and repair. When you stand quietly in this position, you're signaling to every cell, it's safe to heal. The muscles unclench, the blood flows, inflammation lowers, and the mind releases its grip on stress. You're not just getting stronger, you're restoring balance. The benefits ripple outward. People who practice the horse stance daily often report sleeping more deeply, waking up with renewed energy, and even feeling a lightness in their mood they hadn't felt in years. That's because balance isn't only physical, it's emotional. The stillness you cultivate in the stance follows you into the rest of your life. When you face challenges, you find yourself breathing instead of reacting. When you walk, your steps feel more certain. When you rest, your body feels supported from within. And perhaps the most beautiful transformation of all is this. The fear begins to fade, the fear of falling, the fear of being fragile, the fear that age has stolen too much. Each time you stand in stillness, you take back a piece of that fear. You replace it with presence, awareness, and quiet power. Healing through stillness isn't about escaping weakness. It's about embracing it, holding it gently, and allowing it to become strength again. It's realizing that your body was never against you. It's been waiting patiently for you to stop and listen. The horse stance gives you that moment, a chance to meet yourself again, to feel the quiet intelligence of your body, and to remember that inside you, healing is not just possible, it's natural. All it needs is breath, awareness, and stillness. Reclaiming strength, one breath at a time. Every person's journey with aging is deeply personal. For some, it begins with small aches, a stiff knee here, a sore hip there. For others, it's the quiet fear that balance is slipping away, that the body they once trusted no longer listens as it used to. But the horse stance reminds us of a truth that too many forget. The body never truly forgets strength. It only waits for you to remind it.
Each time you take that stance, feet grounded, knees bent, breath steady, you're doing far more than exercising. You're starting a conversation with your body, one that says, I'm still here. I'm still willing to grow. I still believe in you. And your body answers back, not in words, but in the slow, steady return of balance, warmth, and confidence. You start to notice the difference in little moments. Standing up from a chair feels easier. Climbing stairs feels lighter. Walking across the room feels effortless again. That's the quiet miracle of consistency. Strength after 60 doesn't roar. It doesn't demand attention or applause. It whispers, through steady breathing, through patient practice, through the courage to begin again. Every breath in the horse stance is a declaration of life. Every moment of stillness is a step away from fear and a step toward freedom. Because true strength isn't about overpowering, it's about enduring. It's about standing firm in who you are, even when time tries to test your foundation. And the most powerful part? You don't need to chase youth. You don't need to fight the years that have shaped you. Instead, you can learn to stand in them, to let them become your strength. The horse stance teaches that age is not a limitation. It's a teacher. It shows you that wisdom and resilience live in your bones, your breath, your very stance.
So the next time you practice, do it not out of obligation, but out of gratitude. Feel the earth beneath your feet, the same ground that has carried you through every stage of life. Feel your breath, the same rhythm that has sustained you through every joy and every trial. With each inhale, say silently, I am alive. With each exhale, I am enough. Because strength after 60 is not about turning back the clock. It's about reclaiming time as your ally. It's about realizing that every breath, every moment of stillness is an opportunity to become strong again, from the inside out. So, stand tall, breathe deeply, hold your ground. The world may change, the body may age, but within you there remains a quiet, unbreakable strength, waiting, always, to be remembered.
If this message spoke to your heart, don't forget to subscribe and share it with someone who needs to remember that growing older doesn't mean growing weaker. It means growing wiser, steadier, and stronger with every breath.